This is a video for the educational section in our free Discord. The link is in the description below. So this is our top step challenge. We almost passed it today. 2,717. We're just over $200 away from passing it. So we're going to have a look at this dashboard and then we're going to move into discuss today's setup, the mindset, why we took it and when we exited the trade. So if we scroll down here, you can see here, this is our trades. We actually had a no trading week here. We've got a few, anything under $100 I would reckon is kind of break even. So we've only really had these two losses here. This one here's messed up our win rate because what happened, I don't know if you're aware, but see when you're on the top step charts and you set here to, let's say 10, when you come back to here and then you mess about with some settings, and then when you come back this contract goes back to 1. So I'd never realised that before, and what happened was I entered a trade, it was just 1 it placed, so I clicked the button another 4 times, so it placed 5 separate trades. So this was really just 1 trade. It was a loss, but it was 1 loss and not 5 losses, which messed up our win rate. But the most important thing here is our average win to loss. You can see it's way higher. Our profit factor is excellent, and we are $200 away from passing. If you look at the equity curve as well here, you can see this was our big win right out the door. We got a big win. Then on the Friday we had a $390, took us up here. Then this flat section's a no trading week. I was busy this week and never traded. I actually don't know what that one is here, or charge, some kind of charge, but so there's no trading week. Then we had a loss. That was a loss there, 250. But we recovered that on the Thursday. 706 took us a way up. Then we came slightly down, had another loss, a bit of inactivity before having today's win here. So you can see here, most days I've just had 1 trade. If you can see, I think the only day I had 2 trades was Friday here. So I had a loss and I had a second trade to recover that loss. So everything else is just 1 trade. I'm thinking about changing that because these 2 days here, 16 and 24, were a lost. These were just false signals. I jumped in too early, and then when the real signal came, I never took a second trade. So these would have been green days as well. So again, this is the MoMV velocity indicator. I'll put the link in the description below and you'll see it when we jump over to top step. Trading view. So there we go, we are 2,717. So let's jump across to trading view and we will discuss today's trade, why we entered it. So this is my setup. I have ES chart, ES delta, NQ chart, NQ delta. So we don't need these just now, so we'll just pop them over there. Okay, so this was today's trade here. So what was the mindset? So if we turn on, so we looked and we seen that the daily and the weekly was bullish. So we seen that the Tokyo and London highs were pretty close together. Usually when New York breaks Tokyo high and London high, which are close together, it's usually a continuation, higher probability. But here was our entry here. We had this trigger. When this trigger happened, we obviously closed above VWAP here, session VWAP. So this is session VWAP and this here is weekly VWAP, the blue line. Black line is EMA 200. So as you can see here, we had this trigger, but also when we looked over at the delta, we had a cluster of a positive delta of over 1,000 or almost 1,000, 658, 1,000, 1,000. So this is the kind of area where we entered when we had this cluster. The delta was looking positive. Also, if we look over at NQ, NQ was super bullish as well, coming through VWAP, and NQ was actually up about here. It was way up when we entered S&P down here. So we entered off the back of our MoM velocity trigger. Again, I'll put the link to the description in that. Now, we get out here at 500. The reason why we get stopped out at, what was it again? It was $540. So when I enter a trade, my stop loss is $250. Remember that trading these accounts, you can copy 5. So even if you win $500, you'll actually win 2,500. That's the mindset you need to think. So here we risk $250. Now, as soon as we go into profits, $250, we pull our stop loss up to break even. And then as soon as we go into $500 profit, we pull our stop loss to $250. And then when we go to $750 in profit, we pull our stop loss to $500. So as you can see here, this wick came back down and actually stopped us at the trade. But if we had got to up, you see how close we were to actually passing the challenge. But yeah, $200. Hopefully we'll get that Wednesday or Thursday this week. But yeah, that was the trade. So again, our rules for trading is we only trade S&P 500. We potentially will expand on that in the future and introduce other assets. But for just now, just to prove this concept, we're sticking with S&P 500, MES on the MES ticker on Top Step, Micro ES. We are on the 15-minute time frame, and we've got a very strict rule that we don't trade unless it's New York. Now these triggers will always appear in the first 15 minutes, certainly in the first 30 minutes. We don't want to be trading after an hour. Although we will stay in a trade if we're trailing our stop loss, and we're still in the trade for 2 hours, we'll stay in it. But most of the times we're in and out within an hour. It gives you that trading window and you become a master of this time frame on this asset in this window. That is what's really needed to succeed in trading. You really need to be defining an asset, a time frame and a trading session, let's call it, and then you can go and expand on other things. But you know, to become profitable at first, you should really stick with one. Again, we would have passed this account if we traded this week here. There was absolutely crazy good setups in here. I think it was 2 of the days. It would have been over $1,000 trade. So you can see here, with a really good 6-to-1 win, a 2-to-1, a 3-to-1, then a 2-to-1 here. Our losses have been kept minimal. We never traded again. Again, I explained at the beginning of the video, this 5 trades is actually 1 trade, and here's 1 trade. So this trade was cut short, didn't like the look of it, and everything else under $100 I really class as break even. But these levels here, we're using these pivot levels, we're using VWAP, we're using session highs, session lows. The only really way I use these is the actual stop loss. So if you can imagine, let's say we enter a trade, where is my thing here? Let's say I enter a trade here, okay? And as I'm pulling my stop loss up, let's say my stop loss has to go, let's say this area here is securing $500, right? Let's say that area there, right here. Let's say this is me securing $500. Then I would actually pull this down, this here, to just under the VWAP. Because how many times have we seen VWAP get retested? So that's the way I use the levels. Same goes for up here. If we were trading up here, and let's just remove that and use the arrow. So let's say this arrow was our trailing stop loss. We've got a pivot point up here. So let's say our 500 or 250 or 750 trailing stop loss is here, right? If this is, let's say, securing 500, I would rather pull it down here to secure only maybe 480, because again, this is a level. The market might come back down, retest it and bounce. So just to still stay in the trade, I would just pull it just under. And that's maybe why you see some of my trades aren't exactly on 500, they aren't exactly on 750, they aren't exactly on 250, because I'm just under the level. So this year 750 was probably put me above a level. So that's how we use the levels, and the levels are session highs, session lows. You can see it here in this box: session highs, session lows, session VWAP, weekly VWAP, and EMA 200, and your standard pivot points here. There is other levels I use that you'll see in the videos, but I'll wrap this video up for now, and hopefully in the next video we have passed our account. Until the next time, please stay safe.